There are 3 questions you should think about during this video. Water vapor has 2 forms. How are those 2 forms created? Why is the water cycle important to life on Earth? How might having different water sources increase water supply? Have you ever wondered how there can be so much water that comes from clouds? Or why your glass of water is wet on the outside? Well, it is a part of the water cycle. The water that we see and use on a daily basis is in a limited amount. There are 4 different parts of the water cycle: precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. All play an important role in the water cycle. Precipitation. This is when the clouds have absorbed so much water that they become heavy, and the only way they are able to release the water is through precipitation in one of the 4 forms: rain, hail, sleet, or snow. Collection. After precipitation, the water is collected in lakes, rivers, oceans, on land, etc. If the water ends up on land, the water is absorbed into the earth. The water that is absorbed is used for the plants and animals. The water that is not used for that ends up in oceans, lakes, reservoirs, rivers, etc. Evaporation. The next phase is evaporation. This phase happens because the sun warms up the water that is in the oceans and lakes. The water turns into a gas, water vapor, and travels into the clouds. Condensation. The final phase of the water cycle is condensation. Water vapor from the evaporation phase becomes cold and forms clouds. Condensation is the water vapor turned back into liquid. This is what happens to your water when there is a cold liquid in it. When the cycle has completed the final phase, the water cycle begins all over again. Mentioned earlier, there are several sources for water. Sources like rivers, wells, and reservoirs are several major water sources that are used on Earth.
Water from a little puddle turns to gas, evaporation. The gas forms into puffy clouds, condensation. The clouds get heavy and the rain pours down, precipitation, and more puddles on the ground. Oh, the water cycle round and around. Vapor goes up and the rain comes down.